Alright. So, pretty sure we're all good. Okay, so, just gonna make sure that my name entry... Oh, whoops. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta do one thing before I get started here. In the interests of saving as much time as possible, I'm going to actually literally take off all characters of my name as much as possible. And you have varying control schemes, but there's only 4 and you can't actually customize it. But I am not going to dawdle anymore. We'll get started here in 3, 2, 1. Oh, nope, no. Of course the demo. This happened to me in Rocket Knight. Okay, we're gonna go right now. There we go. Okay, so I'm sure some people probably already recognize this game. This went under the name Cybernator when it was localized for an English release by Konami. You probably already can see one major difference, the addition of portraits compared to that other version. But there are a number of other different versions. More notably, text interruptions happen at different points between the versions, and there's an extra cutscene in the Japanese version. But oddly enough, that extra cutscene does not actually make the Japanese version slower. And I'm probably not going to have time to really explain why that's the case, but more importantly, you might notice I just sunk into the ground there. That's because I failed to utilize the jetpack to soften my landings. Here's the first boss of the game. Utilizing the gun carefully to make sure my bullets are always hitting my target. These turrets here are shooting at me, but they don't really matter. I do not actually want to hit them at all or waste any time killing them, and this is very important. On top of the whole softening my landings, what happens if I do a hard landing, I sink into the ground a little bit, and it stops my momentum for the most part, as well as prevents me from dashing. And what the dash mechanic is that slide you saw earlier. So that was the first mission. Now we have our first auto-scroller, and you might also notice a brand new weapon that I have in my arsenal. This was gotten because I played the first level of Pacifist. Fun fact, you can also do that in this level, and you end up being rewarded with upgraded napalm. Napalm is a very busted weapon, so you might think that looks like an insanely good thing to go for, but in reality, I'm pretty sure, I can't confirm this for sure, but I think upgraded napalm doesn't actually increase my attack damage with napalm. It only, I think, increases the amount of times it bounces on the ground. So I actually opt to not go for it in this case. And the other reason I don't go for it is because of this section here. Trying to do this level Pacifist requires me to carefully maneuver myself so I don't crash into asteroids, because they count as a kill. It also means I can't activate that mine I just passed there either, so I can't even optimize my dashes here. And that's kind of the gist of why I don't go for upgraded napalm. It's just, it makes this mission in general slower. In theory, in the past, before I picked up this game, it was thought that going for it would make for a slower mission too, but would make up for it in other missions. I found that to later be not the case. So, now that I finished talking about the napalm weapon in general, now we're on to the third mission. This is Arc Nova, and this will be our very first introduction to a bit of random elements, mostly in just this very, very, very quick and easy to screw up bomb section. But before then, we gotta get to inside Arc Nova. And I'm gonna go into the air here in order to try and quickly deal with those 3 explosives there. Kill them as soon as possible so I can get back to dashing as soon as possible. Now we're into Arc Nova, and I'm going to actually forego many health pickups that I would otherwise get in a casual playthrough. But that was another mini-boss you just saw there. Again, showing the raw power of the napalm weapon. Here's the bomb section I was talking about. I'm getting very, very passive patterns, so that's good. Very, very clean section. Oh, and then I missed that. Okay, so that's kind of unfortunate, but whatever. We got through the really tough section. Now we got branching pathways, and this is considered to be more or less the optimal route of going through it. I was not meant to jump there. That's going to cause a problem here. Yep. That's going to cause a problem, so that may... Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was not the best it could have been, but whatever. Small little things like that. Just a small, minor time loss for missing that. But now we're at the end of Arc Nova, and we're about to initiate the boss fight in this level. Oddly enough, a completely optional fight. He can be a bit of a troll with his little arm. But our main goal is to destroy these 4 engines that are up at the top here. What this guy's trying to do is he's trying to crash land Arc Nova into the planet and cause a massive explosion, which is kind of the main goal objective of this mission. So there are sort of like objectives you have to do in most of these missions. I think pretty much all of these missions. And I'm not sure what actually constitutes to the bad ending, but I think you gotta fail all of them. I'm not entirely 100% sure on that. It might even be failing just a few of them. But that was Arc Nova. So now we have yet another auto-scroller to start off Atmosphere Entry. But this is actually a pretty interesting one. Here we have some recurring enemies. That guy... just he's injured right now, or his mech is kind of defunct right now because he could not initiate a parachute. This injured mech is named Rick. So I'm kind of into this frame perfect positioning here, and I'm going to try to skip a text box. What's going to happen here, this whole entire scene's going to play out. Things are going to happen, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but Beldark's going to land, and 2 text boxes would normally initiate. However, by positioning ourselves perfectly, we actually skip a text box involving a conversation between Rick and Beldark. Remember, Beldark is the pilot of the red mech. Rick is the pilot of the damaged mech. The cutscene that, or the text box that we didn't skip was the one involving the character I'm controlling and Beldark. But now we are on to Twilight Pursuit, and for the most part, there's not much to really say about this mission. Much like Arc Nova, there is some branching pathways. I'm going to opt for the middle path because I find it seems to be faster. It's harder to optimize movement in the bottom path, I find. Once again, going to be utilizing a lot of jetpack here in order to soften my landings at specific points in order to make sure I keep optimally dashing when I can. There's going to be a lot of... Okay. There we go. And again, I'm trying to mash the dash button when I can. I don't technically have to mash the dash button, but I find that in order to save those ever-precious frames, I do that anyway. Here's a mini-boss. And much like the rest of them, he ain't gonna do much. So he's already gone. And we want to pick up this health. Very critical we pick up that health. Especially for the boss coming up. I'm very likely going to be in condition red health by the end of this mission. And now we're at the end of the level. So here is our boss here. All these guys are going to get into the ship here and then take off into orbit. And we're going to try to chase it down and destroy it. If we fail to do that, we fail the mission, technically. And again, only should have a lasting effect on what type of ending we get. So, this fight is all about not wasting your napalm shots. Napalm is kind of a weapon that has a low recharge rate. So, doing the fight like super optimally is not that important. What's most important is just making sure I don't waste my shots and actually hitting these two ads, who are most certainly going to try to get in my way here. So far, they're being pretty nice. Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, like I said, my health was in very critical condition here by the end. But we made it through Mission 5. Alright, now comes the second last mission. This is Gunfire Mountains. This is the hardest mission of the game to optimize, because, once again, we got a bit of randomness to start this off in the form of the snow bunnies. Oh, that was bad. Oh, come on, dude. Okay. My weapon's kind of overheating. Should have just kept it simple. Alright. Well, it's all good. We made it through it. Generally not, like, a really tough section, but it can waste a lot of time. So, that was mostly just me messing up. I got fairly good patterns there, but I was bad. So there's another mini-boss. And now we begin the, probably the hardest section to do properly. This is a pretty janky level design here with this cave section. Now we have our Metroid mines. And I'm going to miss... Yep. You probably saw right there, it looked like I hit that thing, but I didn't at all. And that's kind of another random element to the game. Napalm is a little bit janky with its hit detection. It has a much easier time hitting bigger targets, though, thankfully. There's some more. We're going to drop down here. And that finishes off the underground section. So now we have this really somewhat random fight here. Not these guys, but this orange ship. Again, not really big deal as long as I don't waste my napalm shots. I should finish the fight fine. What's more important, though, is the mission coming up. I do not have actually much time to explain. This guy's giving me a really bad pattern, but... Holy, he was real aggressive. But again, I didn't waste napalm shots. But getting back to what I was talking about, after this fight is the last mission in the game. It is easily the hardest mission in the game, not so much because it's harder to optimize, but rather because it is very hard to survive and not lose a life in it. What I have to do on the very first screen is I have to try press and hold down the shoot button, utilize the shield button, which is my R button, and still try to dash optimally, all simultaneously. And this forces me to hold the controller in a very bizarre manner. So this is where I'm going to have to really focus really hard. Alright, now I'm going to have to start holding it. I'm using the index finger to hold this. Need to keep jump there in order to try to mitigate as much damage as I can. Now I want to use the shield. This is where the shield's really going to put its work in. And I want level 3 Valken specifically for this part because we have these foot soldiers on the ground and they are arguably the biggest threat in this mission because for whatever reason, they do almost as much damage as a big mech. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, but, you know. The other big thing about this mission is this screen here. So this is a big difference between the English and the Japanese version. I actually cannot hold the controller the same way I could in screen number 1 because we have text actually interrupting us here. So I actually have to prioritize the shield. Oops. Oh, God. I almost had the wrong weapon out. Okay. I'm gonna just... Holy crap, I just about died. I just about died there. Oh, good, though. Also, I make sure to get the Beldark off the screen as soon as possible. This allows me to start bursting into the ceiling like that really early. Now we have our unique cutscene in the Japanese version. This was cut out due to censorship reasons. You could probably guess why in a moment here. Yeah. So, that was the president of the bad guys, and, well, I guess because he failed his people and his military, I guess he offed himself. Now, unfortunately, though, Beldark is still alive. I guess he was a mercenary. I need that health. I'm so close to death. Okay, we made it. So that's the thing with the Japanese version. It's because of that second screen and the forced text boxes, I'm forced to be very low on health, which is something I can potentially avoid in the English version. But thankfully, we did not die. We are going to make it. All that remains now is this auto-scroller. And this little explosive section here, now we have a little familiar face. You might remember this is Rick, who piloted the injured mech. Now he's in this welder bot. We call him the welder bot because he's got that weird sort of flame thing when he's charging up the laser attack. Oh, I'm actually in very low health here. I'm going to try to not take too much damage. Oh God. Okay. I'm going to be very careful here. Okay, maybe I was not so safe. Wow, did that attack. Okay, gonna take some health for safety because, wow, I was close to death there. But that fight, well, actually, you know what? I don't even have time. Here's the final boss. He's got 2 weak points. We want to destroy them, starting with this one because it drops health. And now this one. All right, very nice. Arm did not eat a napalm shot. Now comes the main weak point. And we got it. Very nice. So time's coming up here. And there we go. 16:30. About 17 seconds behind the world record for this version. Very solid run. Didn't die in last stand, which is a real big thing. Obviously, I lost time in other areas, probably more particularly Gunfire Mountains. Yeah, but that was Assault Suits Valken. This one, before I decide to sign off here and pass along the good lucks to the 3-2, I want to give a big shout out to the runner you saw before this run, Drumbordist. His race with Butters BB during the last time we had a Super SNES Stars marathon. That race is what inspired me to actually pick up this game, and yeah. So big shout-outs to both of those two runners. I hope you all enjoyed it. It's actually a fairly... I mean, there's a few things that go into running this game, but it's actually easy enough to pick up and learn if you were to pick up any game and learn it pretty quickly. But yeah, that is pretty much going to do it for me. I hope the admins and the next runner is ready to go, and... stay tuned. Thanks for watching.